Hello YouTube, my name's Steve, and I'm going to be doing a review on my M4A1 Daniel Defense. Some people call it the M4A1 SOCOM, but whatever. It's called the M4A1. That's what it says on the side, and that's what I call it. Also, to note, some people have these, and they build them out, and they call them the Block 2, which a Block 2 is part of the SOCOM program, and that is being used, being fielded by Army Rangers, Special Forces, Force Recon, any of the other Special Operations community, and they are being. But those weapons have specific NSN numbers, products. For example, I'll show you my weapon. First off, just to let you know, the weapon is clear and safe. Okay, I'm going to put a magazine in because, well, one, I think it looks better in that regard. But as you can see, I have not charged around. All right. So this weapon itself is not a Block 2, even though you may like it and it looks cool. It's not Block 2. And other guys, unless it actually follows the actual protocol of what those NSN number items are, they are not Block 2. So this is not a Block 2 clone. This is a Steve built gun by Daniel Defense that just happens to have the RIS-2 rail, and it's the M4A1. So let me talk about the pros and cons. And before I do that, I'll tell you about the purpose of this. The purpose of this is essentially to show off my gun, right? Because we all like to show off our guns. And then two, to answer any questions about my setup and give you some pros and cons, and then give you the opportunity to ask me some questions, and I'll give you my advice. I'll just give you a little bit of my background. I've been professionally, I carried an M4 for 8 years. Okay, I'm former military, so I do have a little bit of insight on this type of platform. Not this specific one, as this was being used in SOCOM. I was not part of the SOCOM community. Okay, so pros. Here's the pros of the guns. First off, this is a high-quality weapon. I'm not saying that to brag. It's just a case. This is currently being used, fielded by our Special Operations community, so that says something in itself. All right. So everything on this weapon is high quality. Again, I don't say that to brag. It's just the truth. I invested into these items, and for good reasons. You can look at the individuals and the reviews in the gun community, and it will pretty much be on par. Okay, that's the pro. Also, for a guy like me, it's perfect size. I considered getting a Mark 18, but then after thinking about, what the wait time and all that kind of stuff, I started getting shy against it. And then, really, I started thinking ballistically. I've owned different weapons that have been short barreled, and started realizing the velocity loss. And I didn't like that. The 223 or 5.56 isn't the best out of a short barrel. I'm not saying it doesn't do well. I'm just saying it isn't the best, especially when you start getting past like 200 meters, so on and so forth. For that, definitely a 300 blackout. If I was going to go short barrel and I wanted to go through that, I'd go through the 300 blackout, and definitely would be reloading. Right. So, anyways, absolutely love the length. I'm 6'3". So for the reach, it works out great. It's short enough where this is the shortest, because it is a pinned and welded flash hider, that it just seems more maneuverable. I'm really sorry as I keep on clicking my computer because it goes black, but whatever. I should fix that next time I do a video, right? Anyways, so it's very maneuverable, high quality, just solid shooting weapon, very accurate. Daniel Defense is known for, you ever watch their videos, feel free to go on Daniel Defense website, look at the testimonials, look at their, I guess they do where they blow it up. This gun is no exception. Everything's mil spec on it. Same thing with the Trigicon products and Surefire. They're just really high quality. Okay, so the gun itself, solid platform, and perfect fitting for me. Here's the cons. If you're into lightweight AR-15s, this may not be the best choice for you, okay? Let me tell you why. Because stripped alone, this is a heavier gun. This RIS-2 rail which is primarily the reason why the special ops is using it. It allows you to detach and put on 203 is a heavier rail. It's got a government profile barrel, so it's thicker, it's heavier, and it's got a carbine length gas tube, which means you're going to have a little bit sharper recoil. Slightly, it's not significant, it's just slightly, and especially with a little bit shorter barrel. It's not a problem for me, mitigating the recoil, especially with the sling I use. I've got a 2-point sling. It's Blue Force gear, and just anyone that hasn't ever used one, I highly suggest. Not just because it's adjustable, but actually when you put the sling on, it will lock you in and actually allows you to brace. So they're amazing for that. So yeah, weight is definitely pretty. It's on the downside. So if you're into a lightweight gun, this even the strip platform is not the best. And then actually adding on all these accessories. By the way, I got some stuff on here that you may not want to put on here. I put it on there and whatever. It's my gun, right? So the second thing is the cost. There is nothing cheap on this gun that I've got. I mean, I don't say that from a bragging standpoint. Believe me, there are times that I wish I'm like, man, I should have saved my money, spent it elsewhere. For what I spent on this, I could have bought this gun and this gun and this gun for just this one gun. Okay, so if you want to spread your money out, this is a lot of investment to build a gun out like this. Okay, so those are the two major cons. Is it slightly heavier? Is it like, rock and roll with an AR-10? Absolutely not. It's not like a LaRue OBR or, an LMT MWS or any of those type of guns. It's still a lighter weight AR-15. I would say it's on the heavier end, okay? Especially the way I've got it built out, all right? So let's talk a little bit about the specs, and I'll tell you the reason why. Originally, I had gotten, it came with the proprietary Daniel Defense furniture. The stock I actually really liked. It was similar to like the Magpul MOE, but had like a rubberized. I actually liked it. Thought about not replacing it, but it is an M4A1. Kind of looks like the Block 2, right? So why not go with the look? Also, I've always been a fan of the SOP mod stock. I've had it on a different AR-15. Like it. They're very thick. Great cheek weld. So yeah, this is a Magpul. I forget what it's called. It's the, I don't know. It's a straight. It's more straight. It's the newest one, something plus. I'm sorry, the guys that actually know what this is, you can tell me. What I like about it, it's a straighter grip, but they solved the problem that Daniel Defense was trying to do. Daniel Defense straightened out the grip, but they kept this real thin in here, so it felt like an A2 grip. If any of you guys have used the A2 grip, you know that once you get in there, if you got bigger hands, it feels like a trigger's hit inside here instead of right here or on your fingers where you prefer. What this does, it has a very big swell that allows you to get a good grip. It almost feels like a 1911. It's really weird to make that analogy, but the same way in a 1911, if it's got, a beaver tail, that's what's called beaver tail, it like locks you in, kind of the same feeling. The only downside, there's a little bit of a gap here, but whatever, it works. I like it. The Daniel Defense specs on this gun, by the way, feel free to go on the website. You can check it out. You can see what, the internals, everything is mil spec. They do provide. It is, like I said before, it's a gas length tube. So for the shorter barrel, could be cool if they actually did that in a mid-length. It would be softer, but for me, it doesn't really matter. It's got the appropriate buffer spring, and you're shooting at 222, 223 or 5.56. It shouldn't be that big of a problem. Moving up, these are Troy battle sights. I've actually got the HK style. I hope I don't shoot you through the screen. And you did see that it was unloaded, right? Okay, so just to show you what kind it looks like. If you take a look at that, it's got the HK style, which I really dig. Problem is, probably won't use it that much, considering the fact that I've got this setup on there. Again, these are things where, when we discuss this gun, the setup I have, you don't need these things. If you got a setup like this and you're a civilian and the purpose of this is for recreational home defense or your go-to-war rifle, whatever it may be. I'm not one of those preppers, or not one of those. I'm sorry if I offend anybody, but I'm not one of those type of men that are planning for the apocalypse. I do have things stored up. I do think with wisdom and things like that, but outside of that, I'm not crazy with some of that stuff. Again, I apologize if I offend anyone. I don't know how to describe myself any better than that. So, with that said, these are some of the items that you could probably lose if you want to save weight. Those backup sights you probably don't need, but I put them on there anyways. Second thing, this is the optic setup I have. As you can see, if you take a look at that, that is the red. This is the TA11 horseshoe. Now, let me tell you something about this one. I've had the 4 power. I've looked through the 3 power, which is the TA33, and then you have the TA31, which is the 4 power. The 4 power is going to give you a better range of view when you look through it, but your nose is going to have to be on the charging handle. What I love about these 3.5 powers is they've got so much eye relief. I mean, it's the best of both worlds. With if you shoot in the way that this is intended, with both eyes open, you get to sit back, and it actually allows you to identify the target with both eyes a lot easier than, for example, the 4 power, which it seems to your dominant eye gets drawn in more. That's just my opinion. I shoot a lot better with this one. The downside is bigger and it's heavier. So, there's a trade-off. I think it's the best of both worlds because the 3 power, has lots of eye relief. But then again, you have lower magnification. It's also smaller. Where the 4 power is really big. This one's medium. You got medium eye relief, and I just love the TA11s on there. So can't promote them enough. It's the horseshoe. I don't know if I said that already. I'm just preferable. There's crosshairs. There's the chevron. You've got circle, the donut. You got different types of reticle. I've always liked the horseshoe. The ranging on there is a little bit tricky on how to do it. Learning as opposed to the crosshairs, which is pretty straightforward. But once you learn it, you're good to go. Again, training issue, which I'm going to go into this. This is the RMR. You take a look at it. This is the RMR 06, which is a 3 1/4, I believe, MOA. I'll try to show you. I believe it's on, as you can see right there. Nope. Almost got, there it is. Okay. Now, it's showing up a lot bigger on the screen, but it's small. Okay. This is great for engaging targets at close range. Now, biggest debate's probably going to be is that whether or not you put it on an offset mount down here or put it up here. Majority of the gun community right now, at least what I read, will give you the feedback to put it on the side right here. And I can tell you why. Okay, there's a lot of advantages to that. One, you're closer to the barrel, with your bore axis is a lot closer. If you look here, you've got like a serious 4 to 5 inch height over bore. Okay, which means that when you go to zero it, you're essentially doing this, which means you're gonna have to do some holdovers or hold unders. I don't even know if that's a word when actually firing at different targets up close. Really not that big of a deal in my book, and I'll explain why, but still that is an issue where this, not so much. You're closer to it. There's not that much adjustment. Second of all, you can keep a consistent cheek weld right here when you have this. It's simply having the weapon and turning it. Okay? Now, the way I have this set up is impossible. I can't do that. If you look at my weapon, I have an offset mount here, which would disrupt that. Second of all, me personally, I don't like the turning action. That's not. I would actually prefer to change my cheek weld. And that comes down to a training issue. Okay? It's the way I've trained. I am perfectly confident with shooting in this style, where it becomes where if I'm shooting up there, it's simply moving up, moving down, moving up, moving down, moving up. And that's just me. And I can engage target, and I've done it proficiently, and I have no problem. For you, You may not like it. A lot of guys out there are going to scream, say, "Hey, you don't want to change your cheek weld," and you know what? They have a lot of good reasons why to say not to do that. Okay, so if that's you, if that's the thing that you don't like to do or you don't want to do, don't get this set up. Okay, for me, it works. I like it. That's just me, right? That's why we get the price we get, because we like what works. All right, so moving down the weapon, as you're going to see here, these are the Magpul ladder rails. I kept them on there just for grabbing the weapon itself. Kept the tan, just keeps with the look of the SOP mod. You know, if you get the Mark 18, they have the same look. I think it's cool. It just pull the gun out. People will generally know with the FDE rail and the FDE thing. It's like, okay, that's that type of gun, right? And don't pretend like we go to the range and we don't check each other guns out, because we do, right? At least maybe us young bucks. I don't know. But anyways, this light up here I got, it's a Surefire Scout. I think it's the 600. I think, yeah, because the Mini Scout's the not X300. It's the, I don't know, 600. I forget. I've got it on a Haley Strategic offset mount. If you ever get the chance to, if you ever want to order a part from them and you're looking between them and a different company, Haley Strategic makes solid parts, man. I've gotten them. I had an AK build, which was it was an Arsenal. I had a Ultimac rail on there, and they had an offset mount. It was awesome, dude. The way that, like, I can index my thumb on there, actually prevented some of the heat. As you guys know, if that dealt with AKs, you know, you get a lot of heat on that handrail, and it just stood up to it. It was awesome. So Haley Strategic, highly suggest. I mean, there's certain companies out there that I like, I trust, and I put my life on it, literally, on a build like this. Haley Strategic's one of them. Same thing with Surefire, Trijicon, and Daniel Defense. This is a Tango Down. I forget, it's called the Shorty or something like that. Really, what that is I don't ever grip. The way that I actually grip a weapon is I grip it as such. And if you look, part of this light, I have the Surefire. This is a pressure switch, which just keeps it off. This is a pressure off and on. And then there's a button right here, as you can see. That will keep it constant on. You can turn off depending on how you're engaging a target. Okay. The second thing that I've got on this side, it's a LaRue hand stop. And essentially the reason why I did this is just to lock my hands in. And I've done it barehanded, I've done it with gloves, and it works. Okay. Hand stop goes in here, and then I wrap my hand around. So basically it's going to look like this, comes up, and then my up here, right there, where the pressure switch is, there's like these two rib marks where I put my thumb on, and then I wrap my hands back there, and it locks everything in, and it allows me to create and push that back on there while keeping positive muzzle control. Okay. The last thing, and this is the thing I bought at first, I thought, I was like, oh man, this is really cool. Plus, like Noveski, the unattainable items in the AR world, right? They had this thing, it was a Blockade. I think it's called the Blockade something. I don't know what it is. As you can see, it's on there. It's got metal spikes. The purpose of this is if you're like a 3-gun shooter, if you're actually coming up against something like a board or something like that, it allows you to drive in and then go ahead and engage a target as a platform. I have yet to use it. Okay, so it's one of those things that I've added weight, and I'll be honest, I was going to go take it off and then sell it, because I was like, I don't really need it. I can't get the dang thing off. I ain't gonna lie, man. I'm going to have to get a gunsmith to get that thing off. So I figured, well, hell, it looks cool. I may use it. Does it add that much weight? Nah, just keep it on there, right? But seriously, when I have to get this thing off, I'm going to have a gunsmith or someone that's more competent with tools than I am, because I think I'm about to strip the dang thing out. So anything else that I'm leaving out of here? I don't think so. This, like I said, I don't know if I said this already. This back here, this base pad, this was given to me by my local gun shop owner. He just went to SHOT Show, and essentially what this does is it keeps your gun level. So if you go to the shooting range, if you ain't using a bipod or you're shooting off the ground, it lets you do that. I don't know how I feel. First off, I haven't used it. So it feels kind of gimmicky. I don't know, just looking at it, it looks kind of gimmicky. But it works. I mean, in the sense that, I've gone outside and I got in the Pro and I sat there and it works. So I'm going to give it a go. And if I like it, it doesn't add that much weight. If I like it, I might add to my other Magpul magazines because I do rock the Gen 2s. Don't know why. I mean, I just prefer the Magpuls. Oh, also one other thing that I have here. I will drop the magazine for this. I do have a BCM Gunfighter. Let's see if I can get in closer. Charging handle. What that allows is one-hand manipulation, similar like, with an AK, where you basically go like this, pull it. Same thing here. You can pull it, back and forth just like that. Which is pretty cool. I just like it. Now there is, for some people, if you hold it real tight, that may dig in a little bit. But I haven't really had an issue with it so far. So anyways, that's pretty much my review of the weapon. Overall, extremely happy with the gun. This right now currently is my only AR that I've got. By God, the money, time, and resources I've got in this is the only AR I want, right? I've got other weapon systems that I'm working on and building, and I'll review those if you guys really want to see them. Yeah, so the only two things I may do right now, I don't have the budget for. I might put a Geisley trigger in it, but I don't know. Like I said, I've used this type of trigger, this mil-spec trigger, and this isn't a precision weapon, so to speak, such as like my 300 Win Mag or my 308, where I'm trying to shoot like sub-OAs, like shots at 300 yards. I mean, it's a combat weapon in my opinion. So I just don't know if I need that or just that kind of rapid fire. Second thing is, this is pinned and welded. This flash hider does a great job, but it's pinned and welded. If I'm thinking about removing it, I take a gunsmith and put an AAC brake on it. Our family does own 30 cal can, so I might suppress it. I don't know. Again, like I said, I think I've got enough invested in it. So anyways, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, any advice, this is my first video, right? So if you want to say, hey dude, you're an idiot, there's not enough light, can't see the weapon, you're out of frame, you don't know what the hell you're talking about, or like, hey, good job, hey, any specific questions about it, that's all right. So positive, negative, whatever you want to throw at me, go ahead. I've got a good sense of humor. Yep. So go ahead and comment and ask questions, and I'll try to reply. Thanks you for watching, and see you guys later. Bye.